What's going on, guys? My name is Orphid. How are you all? As you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I'm going to be covering what was shown in the State of Play a couple days ago, and yeah, let's get right into it. So, I want to preface this by saying I'm a pretty big Ratchet and Clank fan. I goes back to the PS2 days. I remember playing those games as a kid. My favorite game so far has been Up Your Arsenal. It was the third game on PS2, and I played Going Commando. I played Ratchet Deadlocked. I played Crack in Time on PS3. So I have some history with this franchise, and it's really fun. It's a really fun time. You know, it's a cute little game. The art style is very appealing. It's colorful. It's lighthearted. And the gameplay is fun. Combat is really fun. And they're looking to bring it up to level 11 with the PlayStation 5 version. And that is Rift Apart. So, one of the first things I want to point out, and that you're going to notice just right away if you're watching this video, is this game's visuals. Unfucking believable. Like, this game looks amazing. There was a couple developers that had tweeted out that, you know, this is the best looking game they've ever seen on any platform, and I might be inclined to agree up until this point so far, because it's a lot of competition. You know, games are getting really ridiculous when it comes to visual fidelity, but my god, this game looks unreal. Like, it's almost as if it can't be possible. Like, if you watch this gameplay, you're like, there's no way that's gonna actually run, you know, on a console. It's insane. I just want to take a quick second to kind of commend how far we've come for video games and visuals and mechanics and all this other crazy stuff. So, jumping right into one of the first things that jump out to me, we're going to cover some of the things that were in this gameplay reveal, some new mechanics, there's some things to kind of take note of. Obviously, there is a new character. It's a female Lombax. Her name is Rivet. Unfortunately, I have already seen looted content of this character. I'm disappointed in you guys, but what would I really expect, you know? Outside of the new character, we have some new additions to combat and exploration in the way that you're just gonna play the game. One of the first ones that stuck out to me was the wall running. Ratchet can wall run now, so you can chain together wall runs. You know, this game has its fair share of like basic platforming, and wall running is going to be an addition to that. In this gameplay, they also talk about how Ratchet now has a dash that gives you iframes, so my guess is they're gonna turn the combat up more, you know, considering they're dealing with much better hardware that can put more enemies on screen. You can have more complex attack patterns, so obviously the player is gonna need a tool to deal with that. And we've seen a lot of games in these recent years implement ways to kind of have good reflexes and dash timing so where you can avoid damage, and I think it's a great mechanic. I think every game that involves combat, for the most part, should have some form of an iframe dash, because it makes it so you can be a bit more skill expressive and you can play games more aggressively, and you know, once you learn the systems, it's very enjoyable. One of the other things they mentioned was utilizing the DualSense's adaptive triggers. So there's another game that I'm gonna make another video on that does this as well, but Returnal. You can actually have alt fire modes that are programmed with the triggers. And this is really cool because it actually lets developers open up even more mechanics for games because there's buttons being freed up. Now, traditionally, you would need to dedicate a button to a different fire mode because you only have one button to put a command on. In this case, with the DualSense, they can lock the triggers after you press a certain point, and you have to press harder to get the trigger again. So that actually registers as two inputs. So in Returnal, when you aim the trigger halfway, that's your regular aim, and when you push it down further, that transitions into an alt fire for the weapon you're using. So effectively, it makes the trigger function as two buttons, that's awesome. So Ratchet and Clank is going to use a similar mechanic where in the demo you had a single shot option with just pressing the trigger, and then when you press it down further, I believe there was like a burst fire option, which is, again, for this kind of game, it's right in line, because this game has a bunch of crazy weapons with a bunch of different effects, and utilizing the DualSense controller in that way, it seems like just natural. That's what we would expect. The level density in the demo looked absolutely ridiculous as well. They have some shots of Ratchet just like standing in a city, and you see all these cars flying and all these lights going everywhere, and it looks lively. There's a bunch of NPC models going about, just a bunch of moving parts in these levels, and it really lends to that complex, upgrade of a game coming from a generation. So this is definitely going to be one of the first standout games that truly show you this is what your next generation console can do. And as an early adopter, I'm desperate for those experiences. So being a fan and seeing what Insomniac is putting together, it's just getting me very excited for this game. And it looks so fucking good. I can't praise it enough. Another big one is they keep showing off throughout all these gameplay reveals and just things that they tout about this game is the loading speeds. Thanks to the PlayStation 5's SSD and the bigger RAM pool, they can load entire levels almost instantly. So they use this portal system that Ratchet has, this grappling hook that he can grapple to the portals, pull himself through, and genuinely load an entire new level. Whereas on a previous generation, that would have required a loading screen, it would have been fairly lengthy, then you would see an entirely new level. Here, you're going to be genuinely seeing the game switch between new levels with new assets and new color palettes and everything in a couple of seconds, which is, again, it's fucking insane. Like, we've never really seen anything like that before, so this is going to be very new and exciting. And I think if you're not a fan of Ratchet and Clank, this is the perfect time to jump in and kind of see what the game's about and get to experience all the new things that Insomniac is trying to provide for us. So yeah, I mean, just in general, everything they showed in the trailer looked great. The new character, it's very exciting to have a female Lombax playable, and to deal with this whole dimension traveling thing and utilizing a bunch of the new features that, the next gen hardware provides. And again, like I said, if you're a fan, you're returning, or you're a newcomer to the series, I think this is going to be a very enjoyable title if you own a PlayStation 5, and it's going to be a must pick up, in my opinion. So, with that all out of the way, I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. What are your thoughts on the gameplay if you've seen it? Are you going to be coming back to the series? Are you a newcomer looking to jump in? Definitely let me know down in the comments. I definitely want to hear you guys' feedback. And once again, thank you so much. You guys have a good one, and until next time.